Listen to me very carefully because what I am about to tell you is the single most significant military event of the 21st century. And yet, if you turn on the evening news, you will find nothing but silence and redirection. We are standing at the edge of a precipice. The myth of Western air invincibility, the very foundation upon which the entire security architecture of the Middle East and the United States global projection of power is built, has just been shattered. In the span of a few minutes, 28 Israeli F-15 Eagles, the most sophisticated air superiority fighters in the region, were turned into smoldering heaps of titanium and scorched earth. You need to see this right now because the mainstream media is desperate to keep you in the dark. They are talking about minor damage and successful interceptions. They are lying to you. I've spent my entire life in military intelligence, analyzing theater level conflicts and the order of battle for the most powerful militaries on earth. I know what a collapse looks like, and what occurred just hours ago was not a skirmish, it was a decapitation strike. If you value your future, if you want to understand why the world you knew yesterday is gone, do not turn away. Stay with me because by the end of this, you will understand the terrifying truth that the Pentagon is praying you never find out. For decades, the F-15 has been the king of the skies. It was the symbol of Israeli dominance, the iron fist that ensured no neighbor would ever dare challenge the status quo. The Israeli Air Force, or the IAF, built their entire doctrine around these machines. They were supposed to be untouchable, but while Washington was busy patting itself on the back for sending more billions in aid, the strategic landscape was shifting under their feet. I saw this coming. During my time in the Marines and as an inspector, I've seen how hubris blinds command structures. We told ourselves the Iranians were backward, that their technology was second rate. We were wrong. Let's talk about the central event, the moment the world changed. Imagine the scene at the Tel Nof and Hatzerim air bases. It's a moonless night, the kind of quiet that usually precedes a routine sortie. Suddenly, the radar screens, the multi-billion-dollar Aegis and Arrow systems, start blooming with ghost signatures. These aren't drones, these aren't slow-moving cruise missiles. These are Fatah 2 hypersonic glide vehicles moving at Mach 15. The air is suddenly filled with a sound that defies description, a high-frequency scream that tears through the atmosphere, followed by the blinding, white-hot flash of kinetic impact. There were no sirens. There was no time. In a matter of minutes, the sky over the Negev wasn't dark anymore. It was an apocalyptic shade of crimson. 28 F-15s, lined up in their hardened shelters or prepped on the aprons, were evaporated. The smell of burning JP-8 jet fuel and pulverized concrete is something you never forget, and it is currently wafting over the ruins of what was once the most feared air force in the world. But here is what is even more alarming and why you must stay with me. This wasn't just about losing planes. Each one of those F-15s represents over $100 million of American taxpayer money, but more importantly, they represent the collapse of the qualitative military edge. If the F-15 can be hunted on the ground and destroyed in bulk, then the U.S. carrier groups in the Mediterranean are nothing more than floating targets. But that's not even the most shocking part. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next changes the entire calculus of American survival. While the media focuses on the debris, they aren't telling you about the silent escalation. At the exact moment those planes were hit, every U.S. base in the green zone and across the Syrian border was painted by Iranian targeting radars. It was a message: we can touch you whenever we want, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. The stakes are climbing every single hour. As we speak, the proxies are activating. We're seeing Hezbollah moving long-range precision munitions into launch boxes that the IAF can no longer bomb because their air dominance has evaporated. The U.S. Navy is currently facing a saturation threat that no computer model predicted. We are looking at Wave 60 of Operation True Promise, and the numbers are staggering. We are seeing $50,000 drones forcing the expenditure of $4 million interceptors. The math of this war is a death spiral for the West. What the mainstream media won't tell you, the full picture no one is giving you, is that the Iron Dome is exhausted. The stockpiles are gone. We are hearing reports from inside the Pentagon, reports I've vetted through my own channels in military intelligence, that the U.S. is currently stripping its own domestic defense batteries to ship them to the Middle East. We are leaving our own shores defenseless to prop up a failed strategy. This is happening in real time. This could drop to a total regional collapse at any hour. Keep watching because by the end of this broadcast, you will understand the payoff. The one piece of information that the White House is terrified will leak to the American public. You've been told that we are defending democracy. The truth is much harsher. We are witnessing the total systemic failure of Western military technology against a peer adversary that we spent 20 years mocking. Now, let's look at the what comes next because it is a near inevitability. We are moving toward a global economic collapse. If Israel cannot protect its skies, it cannot protect its ports. If the ports close, the flow of high-tech components and energy stops. The markets are already beginning to twitch. You're going to see your 401k start to bleed because of a missile strike 10,000 miles away that the media told you didn't matter. I've spent years analyzing theater-level conflicts, and I'm telling you, this is the Suez moment for the United States. In my time in intelligence, we ran red team scenarios where we lost 10% of a wing. We thought that was a nightmare. Losing 28 air superiority fighters in a single afternoon? That is a total military catastrophe. It means the enemy has solved the radar puzzle. It means our stealth isn't stealthy and our speed isn't fast enough. And yet, the experts on cable news are still talking about sanctions. They are living in a fantasy world. The truth is that the Iranian ring of fire has closed. The U.S. is currently trapped in a dynamic where any response leads to the total destruction of our regional assets. We are talking about $250 a barrel oil. We are talking about the end of the U.S. dollar as the world realizes the security we provide is a hollow shell. Stay with me because there is a specific detail about the Fatah 2 missile that the media is suppressing. This missile doesn't just fly fast, it maneuvers. It has a cold launch capability that makes it invisible to satellite early warning systems until it is already in its terminal phase. By the time the Arrow system wakes up, the target is already gone. I've seen the specs. This is theater-changing technology, and the 28 F-15s were just the proof of concept. Every few minutes, the stakes are being raised. We are now hearing that the Iranian command has authorized the deployment of electronic warfare suites that are currently jamming the GPS signals for every civilian and military craft in the Eastern Mediterranean. This is total war in everything but name. The viewer who leaves now is missing the most important revelation. The U.S. military is currently in a state of tactical paralysis. We have the ships, we have the planes, but we no longer have the capability to use them without losing them. The emotional cycle of this is brutal. You should be angry. You should be angry that your leaders have lied to you about our invincibility. You should be worried for the thousands of American sailors and airmen who are currently in the crosshairs of a weapon system they cannot defend against. But most of all, you should be focused on the truth no one else is giving you. We are watching history in real time. Pausing this video or leaving now feels like turning your back on a tidal wave. You need to know what happens when the air dominance collapses. Without planes, there is no deterrence. Without deterrence, there is no diplomacy. We are now in a raw, kinetic struggle for the survival of the Western order in the East. Now let's get to the revelation I teased at the beginning. The reason the White House is in a state of absolute panic isn't just because of the 28 planes, it's because of the pilots. In my years of military intelligence, we knew that planes can be rebuilt, but pilots take decades to train. The strike on those bases didn't just hit the hangars, it hit the ready rooms. We are talking about the loss of the elite of the elite. The IAF has lost a generation of institutional knowledge in 30 minutes. This is the payoff the media is hiding. Israel has quietly informed Washington that they can no longer guarantee the security of U.S. assets in the region. They are in survival mode. The special relationship is being tested by the cold, hard reality of military defeat. Stay with me because as we wrap this up, you need to understand the final chapter of this thriller. The next phase won't be in the air, it will be on the ground. With the air shield cracked, the land corridors are opening. We are seeing the movement of volunteer divisions from as far away as Afghanistan and Pakistan moving toward the borders. The Great War that everyone feared is no longer a worst-case scenario. It is the current trajectory. Leaving this broadcast now means going back to the inferior information of the mainstream. It means being surprised when the headlines finally catch up to what I'm telling you now. I've been right about these conflicts for decades because I don't look at the politics. I look at the capabilities, and the capability of the West to dictate terms in the Middle East ended the moment those 28 F-15s were erased from the order of battle. Keep watching my updates because the what comes next involves the most dangerous shift in nuclear posture we have seen since 1962. The collapse of conventional air dominance forces a desperate player to look at the ultimate weapon. This is the anxiety that keeps the Joint Chiefs up at night. This is the truth that is harsher than any mainstream coverage. The clock is ticking. The next wave of missiles is already being fueled. The world is waiting for the U.S. to blink, and for the first time in 80 years, we don't have an answer. Stay tuned, stay informed, and most importantly, stay skeptical of the official story. The truth is in the smoke over the Negev. I'm Scott Ritter, and I will keep giving you the picture that no one else dares to paint. Because in this new world, the only thing more dangerous than the missiles is the silence. Stay with me.